pushes his message. A political column in Rolling Stone magazine is suggesting America's millennial generation should push for, quote, a fair society, instead of the, quote, economic hellhole our parents have handed us. Joining us now, a millennial himself, Ben Shapiro. He's host of the brand new Ben Shapiro Show on KTTH that premiered today. And we should mention that we reached out to the author of the Rolling Stone piece. He was unavailable to us tonight, but we're going to discuss his thoughts. Ben, thanks for being here. And so the author of this piece has some very interesting insights. He's an Occupy Wall Street guy for millennials like you. He thinks, among other things, that there should be guaranteed work in this country for everyone. He thinks that everything should be owned by everyone. We need a sovereign wealth fund that is basically just a big investment fund that buys up from the private sector and then pays out to the rest of America. He wants a public bank in every state. And here's my favorite one. He wants Social Security for everybody. And this is a quote. As much as unemployment blows, so do jobs. What if people didn't have to work to survive? Is this a joke?
No, I mean, it isn't. This is actually how a lot of millennials think, and this is how the Occupy Wall Street movement thinks. This is a group of people who graduated with degrees in lesbian dance theory and then were surprised when they didn't get a six-figure paycheck out of college. I mean, this is, unfortunately, they were getting a paycheck consummate with their education level. The problem is that if you have to be productive in a capitalist society in order to earn anything. And this is, unfortunately, a lazy generation, a generation that expects things. And ignorant and communist is no way to go through life.
I was out on maternity leave when that story broke, but was there, in fact, is there a degree in lesbian dancing?
I know that they actually do have classes in
so
in
classes,
various
but you can't major in it.
like
Okay.
That.
Here's what I want to ask you.
Unfortunately.
Because he goes on to talk about, and this is just one of the quotes that he talks about, and this is part of his, we need to guarantee work for everyone. And he talks about how, listen, we would run a job guarantee through perhaps the non-profit sector. Imagine a world where people could contribute the skills that inspire them, like painting murals, rather than whatever stupid tasks bosses need done. Doesn't it sound great? So who is going to pay in this utopian world that this millennial, and by the way, this article was specifically endorsed by Rolling Stone in its own words, who is going to be paying for these millennials to paint their murals?
Oh, nobody. The unicorns. The unicorns will. Or the children that the millennials will never have because we're never going to get married and we're never going to have kids. I mean, this is the whole thing. Passing the buck to the next generation that doesn't exist yet. And John Maynard Keynes was fond of saying that in the long run we're all dead. This is that philosophy taken to the extreme. In the short run we're all dead, so we might as well all paint murals. Who's going to clean the toilets? I mean, who's going to do the actual work that needs to be done in this country? Maybe this is why so many folks want open borders.
He doesn't think anybody should have to work at all. He thinks the government should give paychecks out just to you sitting on your couch because you exist. Who is going to generate the taxes that's going to pay for those people on their couches?
Well, this is the big problem with communism and socialism. It is inherently the most selfish philosophy on planet Earth. It's the idea that because I'm breathing, I deserve something. Capitalism is forced altruism. I starve unless I provide something to you that you find useful. And this is why, honestly, I think that what's shocking is not that this guy wrote this piece, but that this is a sentiment that's felt by so many people in the aftermath of an entire century in which these ideas were tried and they failed.
That's one, because with all due respect to the article of piece, not many people care what this kid from Occupy Wall Street thinks and has written in Rolling Stone. But we are hearing that the president is about to make income inequality the centerpiece of his next few years in office. And we heard it from the mayor of New York. I mean, this is where the Democrats are going. And the question is, are they going to go as far left as this guy went? Maybe not quite that far, but is this the way people on the left are thinking? And here's one example of one of the tweets the Rolling Stone guy sent out today. I don't want the 1% dead, just dispossessed. Tell you what, each family can keep one mansion and one luxury car, but the rest is forfeit. I mean, even the president came out one time and said, I do think at some point you've made enough money. I mean, the mindset of you have enough, and I'll tell you when you've reached that point.
Well, this is actually a vile and despicable philosophy. It really is. And I think that the conservatives in this country need to start actually making the moral case for capitalism. This is a great failure on our part. The truth is that by the end of the 20th century, capitalism had largely won across the globe. And now it's beginning to lose again because capitalism was never made a moral issue. It was always turned into a practical issue. Well, the fact is that too many people see what's happened in America as a failure of capitalism rather than as a failure of government. And so a lot of folks are turning back to the old discredited idea that didn't just lead to an enormous amounts of poverty across the globe, but it led to the deaths of hundreds of millions of people if you take this to its extreme.
It's interesting, Ben. Maybe we'll be joined by this